pretty interesting. A guy I like to follow on Twitter by the name of Michael, he sniffed this out. And I'm going to give him credit where credit is due, and I do find it extremely interesting. And we are talking about players that may have signed with Project B.
The WNBA world is buzzing right now. A new super secretive league called Project B just followed a few players on social media, and instantly everyone started speculating. What's interesting is that Project B rarely follows anyone, so when they added Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones, and Camila Cardoso, it felt huge. Are these just random follows, or is it a sign they're trying to sign players? If that's the case, the WNBA could be in trouble. Next.
They're only following 11 entities. They're only following 11 on their official Twitter feed. Kelsey Mitchell. I'm not following Kelsey, really? My girl Camila Cardoso. You can see I'm following her. Center, the Chicago Sky, right? Jewel B. Lloyd, yeah.
It all started with one fan, Michael, who's known for spotting clues like this. He noticed that Project B had added some players to their follow list. He dug deeper, and the numbers began to reveal a pretty wild story. It started small, but it quickly turned into something much bigger.
You guys didn't know this. My third favorite player in the entire WNBA is Jonquel Jones. And they are also following Jonquel Jones. Very interesting because they're following Nike Ogwumike, who is signed with their league, and Alyssa Thomas, who is signed with their league. We've heard they've already signed other players. We don't know who those other players are. Should be noted, unless I'm going crazy, Camila Cardoso, Jonquel.
The thing is, Project B is extremely selective about who they follow. It's like a top secret operation, so every new follow becomes a big deal. When Michael shared the news, fans went wild trying to verify it, and there they were, Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones, and Camila Cardoso. These aren't just any players, they're WNBA powerhouses. Project B only follows 11 accounts in total, so adding these players felt like a signal that something serious might be happening behind the scenes. Everything is still under wraps, and the players aren't saying a word, but we all know how this goes. Social media usually spills the truth long before any official announcement. When a major league follows someone, it often means conversations are happening. That's why fans started analyzing everything. Why these players? Why add them all at once? And why now, especially when the WNBA is already dealing with rival leagues and contract issues? It feels way too intentional to be a coincidence.
Players, not counting Alyssa Thomas, but some of these players, Jonquel Jones, Kelsey Mitchell, Camila, I've not seen any kind of activism surrounding those.
Seriously, the more people examined that list, the clearer it became. Project B was sending a message without saying a word. Even reporters began discussing it, pointing out that these aren't just good players, they're elite, with incredible stats and huge demand internationally. And here's the kicker. When a new league wants to make a big splash, the money on the table is usually massive.
So, as you can imagine, we're going to keep our eyes open. But Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones are two huge names. Jewel Lloyd, big name. Camila Cardoso, big name, high-profile athlete out of...
The question is this just a coincidence, or is Project B revealing the first superstars who might jump ship? The silence from both the league and the players is only making the mystery even bigger. This is about to get very interesting.
This storyline, watching how this affects Unrivaled, again, I think Unrivaled is doomed. And then how it affects the WNBA is going...
This is where things get even crazier. Fans started examining every player Project B was following, and it became impossible to ignore what it all suggested. First, there's Kelsey Mitchell, a scoring machine who has dominated the WNBA for years. She's exactly the kind of player a new league would want to build around to establish credibility. If she were to join Project B, it would send a direct message to the WNBA that they may not be able to keep their biggest stars. Next is Jonquel Jones, and this is where things shifted from interesting to concerning. She's a former MVP, a championship-level leader, and one of the most respected players in women's basketball. If she's on Project B's radar. It shows they're not just chasing young prospects, they're targeting established veterans who can attract viewers immediately. Seeing her name made fans question just how much Project B has already secured behind the scenes. The biggest surprise, though, was Camila Cardoso. She's new to the WNBA, but she's already a major presence with size, energy, and a massive social media following. For Project B, landing someone like her would pull in an entirely new generation of fans, especially given her global popularity in Brazil. Having these three names together feels far too strategic to be a coincidence. Fans began asking whether this was a calculated move or if the players had already signed something privately. Every theory only added more fuel to the fire, and the silence from everyone involved made it even louder. What makes this even more insane is the bigger picture. Project B isn't randomly following players. There's a clear strategy behind each name. The league is trying to brand itself as a global alternative, aiming to crown a world champion rather than focusing on a single country. With that mission, the players they're following make perfect sense. Kelsey Mitchell represents elite American talent. Jonquel Jones brings international credibility. Camila Cardoso delivers rising global star power. Together they offer skill, marketability, and worldwide reach. Project B isn't just building a league, they're trying to create a global force from day one. To do that, they need faces who resonate with different regions. Kelsey is the American anchor, Jonquel connects with Caribbean fans, and Camila brings in a massive young international audience. Fans also notice that these players represent different stages of the basketball journey. Kelsey is in her prime. Jonquel is a seasoned veteran. Camila is a rising rookie with a huge future. If Project B wants a strong, diverse, balanced foundation, these three are the perfect starting point. Their appearance on that follow list suggests the league isn't just trying to compete, they're building a roster designed for long-term dominance. The fact that a brand new league is already identifying and possibly securing this caliber of lineup is shocking. People are now wondering whether these follows are early signs of deals already in motion, and if that's true, this is only the beginning. Then things became even more controversial. Project B is backed by a Saudi-owned entertainment company, and that sparked immediate backlash. As soon as the partnership was revealed, concerns started flooding social media. Some fans were thrilled about the potential for massive payouts, while others worried about the political baggage that comes with Saudi investment. Terms like sports washing started popping up everywhere, just like they did with Saudi investments in boxing, golf, and soccer. The reactions show how divided fans are even before the league officially launches. Players have been extremely careful about what they say, but many admit the money being offered is like Project B can offer contracts far beyond anything the WNBA can match. For athletes who play overseas just to make ends meet, the idea of earning in one season what they usually make in 4 is hard to ignore, but it also comes with scrutiny. Fans are questioning whether joining Project B could damage a player's reputation or invite criticism. That's why the follow activity caused such a stir. If players as respected as Jonquel Jones or as promising as Camila Cardoso are in talks with Project B, it suggests the money is outweighing the controversy. Kelsey Mitchell's presence makes the situation even clearer. These aren't fringe players, they're high-level, influential athletes. If they're considering a Saudi-backed league, the financial incentives must be enormous. The debate is intensifying. Some say players should prioritize their futures, while others believe joining Project B sends the wrong message. Each new player the league follows makes fans more uneasy, wondering how many stars might leave the WNBA once fans realized multiple WNBA players might be considering Project B. Attention shifted to another new league. Unrivaled, this player-only league launched with major hype and promises, but suddenly found itself in a dangerous position. Unrivaled was marketed as a groundbreaking alternative, more control for players and better pay, but its rollout has been slow, its structure unclear, and its financial backing far weaker than Project B's. With Project B's follow list growing, people began to question whether Unrivaled ever truly had a chance. Seeing names like Jonquel Jones, Camila Cardoso, and Kelsey Mitchell associated with Project B sparked massive concern because these are exactly the players Unrivaled desperately needs. Without star power, Unrivaled risks launching with zero momentum. The more people compared the two leagues, the clearer the problem became. Project B offers massive salaries, international marketing, a global audience, and long-term stability backed by billionaire investors. Unrivaled offers creative control and player ownership, but not enough financial strength to prevent talent from leaving. Many fans pointed out that Project B has already signed confirmed stars like Anka Aguirre and Alyssa Thomas. If they also secure players like Jonquil or Camilla, Unrivaled might not just struggle, it could collapse before it even begins. A league without top-tier talent can't compete for attention, viewership, or sponsorship money. Project B is moving quietly but strategically, positioning itself to dominate before Unrivaled even gets off the ground. Fans are already predicting that Unrivaled will be overshadowed quickly. What was supposed to be a player-led revolution now looks vulnerable, and the belief that Project B has already convinced key athletes to join them has added a sense of urgency. If these follows are accurate, Unrivaled could be facing its biggest threat yet. As the conversation moved away from Unrivaled, an even bigger concern emerged. What does all of this mean for the WNBA? The WNBA has been gaining momentum with new stars, better marketing, and increased fan interest, but Project B's moves threaten to undo years of progress in a matter of months. Financially, the WNBA has always struggled. Many players still earn modest salaries and rely on overseas contracts to support themselves. Now, with Project B offering payouts, the WNBA simply can't match. The fear of losing top talent is very real. Let's break it down. The WNBA already faces major challenges: limited team budgets, exhausting travel schedules, inconsistent marketing, and even star players feeling under. In this environment, Project B offers something the WNBA cannot: immediate financial security and global visibility. That's powerful, especially for athletes who have spent years fighting for better treatment. Losing top players like Jonquil Jones or rising stars like Camila Cardoso wouldn't just be symbolic. It would impact competitive balance, ticket sales, marketing campaigns, and TV contracts. The WNBA's recent growth has been driven by star power, so losing even a few major names could create long-term damage. And here's another issue. If Project B successfully attracts enough players, it could force the WNBA into making tough decisions about salaries, scheduling, or even structural reforms. Pressure from a financially superior competitor can reshape an entire industry. Players are now wondering whether the WNBA will respond publicly or remain silent until contracts are confirmed. The league has dealt with overseas competition for years, but this is the first time a rival league has directly challenged them during the season. Project B's timing suggests they're intentionally targeting the WNBA's most vulnerable points. Meanwhile, the media and fans are gearing up for what could become one of the biggest sports storylines of the year. Everyone wants answers: which players have signed, which ones are close, and how many more are on Project B's radar. This uncertainty has created an atmosphere of pure tension. Every rumor gets thousands of views. Every small hint of movement sparks debate, and the stakes are only rising. If Project B secures a lineup of recognizable stars, it could shift viewership, sponsorship deals, and even the global future of women's basketball. The craziest part is that all of this started with simple social media activity. A few follows, a few familiar names, and suddenly fans realized something much bigger was happening behind the scenes. If Project B continues making deliberate moves like this, the next few months could change everything. And now the question is the WNBA even prepared for the competition that's coming? What began as a quiet string of follows has exploded into one of the most talked about moments in women's basketball, with Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquil Jones, and Camila Cardoso suddenly appearing on Project B's radar. Fans can sense a massive shift approaching. Whether these moves signal confirmed signings or early negotiations, the impact is already being felt. The WNBA unrivaled, and even international leagues are bracing for major change. Project B has made it clear that it's willing to challenge the system. The next wave of announcements could reshape the entire future of the sport. Even as this follow movement continues online, it's become obvious that this was more than just a social media moment. It marked the beginning of a seismic shift in women's basketball. Project B is not operating like a small startup league. Every move they make signals long-term planning backed by serious financial power. Following elite players from different teams, different countries, and different stages of their careers shows they're constructing a balanced, globally appealing league from day one. For fans watching closely, this feels like the beginning of an epic power struggle: established institutions versus a bold new challenger. And the silence from the WNBA is only intensifying the drama. No official statements, no reassurance, no acknowledgement of the speculation exploding online. That silence has many wondering whether league executives already know. Departures are coming but are choosing to wait until deals become official. The WNBA has dealt quietly with overseas leagues for decades, but this is the first time a competitor has directly challenged them during the domestic season. Project B's timing suggests they're intentionally exploiting that vulnerability. Meanwhile, media outlets and fan pages are gearing up for what could be the defining storyline of the year. Everyone is desperate to know which players have signed, who's close, and how many more are on Project B's list. This uncertainty has created a charged, almost electric atmosphere. Every rumor skyrockets in views. Every hint turns into a full-blown debate. With the attention growing daily, the stakes are rising with it. If Project B manages to sign a roster of established stars, it could permanently reshape viewership patterns, sponsorship deals, and the global trajectory of women's basketball. And again, all of this began with a few follows on social media, a handful of names, and suddenly fans realized something enormous was unfolding. If Project B keeps making calculated moves like these, the next few months could completely transform the landscape. The real question now is the WNBA ready for the level of competition that's headed its way?